Welcome back to another What's the Score? The first one. It seems like it's been months and months since the Toffees last played. Playing Sheffield Wednesday at home tonight in the FA Cup. Joined as usual by Matt Jones. Matt, it seems to have been a long time coming this game, doesn't it?
It feels so much longer than like 10 days, doesn't it, since we last played? Is it? It's probably 12, isn't it, actually? We played on a Tuesday night last time, but yeah, looking forward to it, mate. It's a strong team as well, isn't it? Just dropped now. And
it is, yeah. Team who's just in. Like, good to see Calvert-Lewin in. He would have been itching to play in this, wouldn't he? Obviously,
yeah.
Time we played him in the League Cup, he scored 2.
Yeah. He's obviously, I think he, being from Sheffield and from Wednesday, from United's academy, would have definitely wants to come through. But it's Olsen, Coleman, Holgate, Mina. So Keane on the bench, Godfrey left back, and Decore, Gomez midfield, Rodriguez, Sigurdsson, and Richarlison behind Dom. So absolutely no messing about there. No. Be able to get the job done. I think I suppose the interesting news there, isn't it, mate, is that Taro Nyanga and Thierry Small are both on the bench. 17.
That's getting in there.
That's getting in. 17 years old and 16 years old, respectively. I think if Small comes on, he'll be the youngest player in our history.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, I mean, it's always good to see a player like break a record like that. And it's sort of, you kind of think he's a player we're really going to have to manage well at this point. Big clubs sniffing around him, so he's obviously a massive prospect, and it's also how you handle him. Typically, he's a bloody left back, which is a position we really don't need that much quality covering because we've got a lot. But it will be interesting to see what he's like when he comes on. Obviously, I don't think he will.
The only way he gets on is if like three, like there's 10 to go or something like that. Maybe you get the rest.
I would have thought so. But yeah, it would be nice as well. Yeah, but it's good to see young players on the bench, isn't it? Instead of players who we hoping to get out the door. It always gives you more of a little bit of a boost, doesn't it? And it's only in these games that you get that, really. I think we probably wanted to see more younger lads come on against Rotherham. The way the game panned out, we just didn't have that luxury. So hopefully tonight we might get to see them if we do, build up a bit of a lead. But you never know. But I think that side's got to be strong enough. We couldn't really have gone any stronger than that, could we?
Yeah, it's the first time that front three that was so good early in the season have played together for a while, isn't it?
Yes.
Think about recent matches and like one or two of them, or all three of them in some cases haven't been available. Yeah. I think it's probably the first time they played together since Burnley, was it? The start of December.
I think it will have been, yeah.
The 1-1 draw, and that was obviously in a three-man defence and a bit of a weird midfield behind them. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of well, if he can sort of settle back into that the idea of the season. And I think we've been sort of playing a 4-2-3-1, haven't we, recently, with Sigurdsson behind the striker. Maybe today we'll go back to more of a 4-3-3 with those three just pushed really high up against Sheffield Wednesday. I don't really know any of the lads from their team, to be fair, or whether they're resting many players or anything like that. But we should have enough.
Yeah, I just had a look at that team. Jordan Rhodes isn't in the squad. Obviously, one-time Everton target, which actually seems like a lifetime ago. When I was listening to your match preview, the fella who you were talking to said Barry Bannon's having a great season. And I was thinking, if there's a player who's got a name to knock Everton out the FA Cup, it's Barry Bannon, isn't it?
Yeah. I think he's a neat and tidy midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah, apparently so, yeah. And he's got Josh Windass on the bench. Obviously, Dean Windass's lad.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, that's another name to conjure with, isn't it?
There's a few other names in there. I think Parsons, a bit of a yard dog centre forward, isn't he? He's just going to, I think that'd be a good test for Holgate, actually, that coming up against someone like him. I think he was at Cardiff, wasn't he, when they were in the Premier League, and he was a right back, but Warner played him up front for a bit, and he's just stayed there. I think that Green, they've got to come on loan from Aston Villa, who's, I think they rate him quite highly, but other than that, I don't really recognise many of the lads in there. So I think that Adam Reach can score a spectacular goal. He scored a few bangers down the edge, but apart from that, nothing to fear really. Maybe we should be on the front foot against these. And
Patterson scored in their last 3. They've obviously won the last 2, haven't they? Sorry, the last 3, including the FA Cup against Exeter. So they haven't played since the FA Cup on the 9th of Jan. They've not had a game. We haven't had a game since the 12th against Wolves. So you sort of know.
Is that a bit too long, do you think, though, to have a break?
What's that?
What point does it go from being you're fresh to play to rusty? What's the fresh?
It shouldn't be really missing 10 days, should it? It's you should be able to keep your sharpness up. I think if you miss like 3-4 weeks, that's when you see players coming back after like 4 weeks out and they come back and they're a bit rusty. A couple of weeks should be fine, but the fact that both teams have had that sort of break sort of says there's no excuses there. You can't say, oh, we haven't played for weeks, they're a bit sharper because they played like 3 days before our last game. But yeah, as you say, that Patterson's a bit of a yard dog. He could cause us a bit of bother, having scored in his last 3 on a good run of form. But yeah, as you say, they're not doing particularly well in the champ. Run of form of the season under the caretaker manager, isn't it? At the minute. So there's ingredients in there to make it a potential upset. But if you look at our team, there's no excuses. That team has got to be beaten a bottom, bottom half championship team.
I think it'll be nice to see Coleman and Rodriguez on the right together again as well. Because I think they put sides early in the season, didn't they? But obviously Holgate's played a lot there recently, and then either James hasn't played or Coleman's been injured, so they haven't really been able to operate in tandem on that right side very often. It's assuming that James does play. Well, he will, won't he? He's going to be on that right side floating in field.
Yeah, and as you said, I imagine it's going to be going back to that sort of early season 4-3-3 lineup. And this is a good game to do it. You saw how we took teams apart in the early part of the season with this side and this formation. So you kind of think if we're playing a lower league team, you should have enough to tear them apart, really. But it's Everton in the FA Cup, as we saw against Rotherham. The game against Rotherham was classic third round Everton, wasn't it? It was just the third. So yeah, you kind of think we go into these games a bit sort of. I think the worst thing that happened against Rotherham was we scored, because I think they all thought, you could see it, they all thought, right, that's it, job done. And, as we saw, Rotherham on a good side, but you can't afford to do that against any team.
Hopefully, what that'll do, mate, is if we take the lead tonight, then that'll be fresh in the mind, and we won't start. Yeah. I think the job's done, and just start knocking it around and let them grow into the game a little bit. You've got to. I think it's the second goal in these games. If you get 2, that's it, then, isn't it?
It kills it off, doesn't it?
All of a sudden, they start thinking, we didn't really have much of a chance here anyway. We've got a game. They've got Coventry on Wednesday, which is a big game for them as well. And all of a sudden, everyone's mind in that team starts thinking towards that game, and that's where your quality can just take over, and the match just becomes a bit of nothingness. So, yeah, I think if you get the second goal, if you go 2 goals up in this one, then I think it's fine. But like you said, was a little bit worrying against Rotherham that we did just sort of drop off a little bit, but it's a much stronger side that tonight. Much stronger. So hopefully there's issues there.
You can't hope the manager's telling them that as well, wouldn't you, to go out? Like, just go out and get this done early. Don't be messing about. Just get the game won and then have a rest before Wednesday night, because that's another huge game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
It's a big deal, isn't it? It's mad that we're playing at this time when you consider we've got. I know everyone's playing in midweek. We've got Wednesday, and then it's the early game on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right idea. Just got a couple of comments there. Alejandro Villamil, I think I pronounced that right, mate. Said, I love the fact Ancelotti's gone full strength. Let's score 2 free goals in the first half and rest key players for Leicester. And Stephen Spencer, come on, mate. This is a bit harsh. He said, love watching these back and see how wrong he's get it.
We're not that bad, are we?
But he also said, love the channel up the toffees. But I think in fairness, we were both quite downbeat ahead of the Wolves game, weren't we?
We were, actually. I think I had them down for 4-0 defeat, didn't I? I suppose we were doing this last season, weren't we? And we used to do like a lot of match predictions, and I don't think we ever got one right, did we? Or we may have got one right each over the course.
We got one right in one game, yeah. But
yeah, so we're not very good at this, are we?
What are you saying today, then?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go 3-0. I think we'll have enough to just see them off. Yeah, what do you reckon?
I was thinking 3-0, but I'll go 3-1 just because to be different. I think that yard dog Patterson will score against us, like just a scabby goal from a corner or something.
Yeah, actually, that's a good shout. That he's got that Matt Smith vibe about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That sort of thing, yeah. But I was interested. When I was listening to the match preview, it was sort of interesting to hear you sort of see Sheffield as a sort of like upper championship team, like can do all right in the championship. Because I'm like a little bit older than you, I always see them as like a half decent Premier League team. I mean, I know they've not been in the Prem for 20 years, but my perception of them has always been like a top flight club. And it's sort of amazing how quickly that can sort of just disappear, isn't it? Because I suppose like for the last 20 years, they've not been in the top flight at all. But like when I was a kid, we were up and down in the 80s, and then the 90s, they were always better than us. You always have teams like Derby County who always seem to be better than us in the Prem. Sheffield Wednesday were always another one. You could always do us over.
They had like mad players, didn't they? That could like be unbelievable or horrendous.
Yeah, Carboni and Di Canio.
Yeah. That's what you think of. And
players like that, yeah. Of course, I think that's where Mick Lyons ended his career as well at Sheffield, I think.
But like, yeah, just like up until recent years, I've always thought them just to be like just a dependable club that are just like there.
Yeah.
Don't really do anything. But they've had obviously the new owners come in, and I think while he seems to have the right intentions, it's not gone well. And like he's been doing, I think he had a 3-hour press conference after they sacked Pulis, and like he was just chatting on for ages, and like you think you don't want the owner getting involved in that sort of thing, really.
No. Well, you made the comparison, didn't you, with Mashiri, and said, he sort of did the same thing. You can go into these with the best intentions, but if you keep making mistake after mistake, it's really just sort of like it gets you in a rut, and it's really hard to put right. And he's only really put it right now with Ancelotti. So you can kind of see if you're working at that lower level, and you can't maybe attract the right manager, because you kind of think Pulis would be a shoe in there, wouldn't you? Get the division, get them out of the division, or maybe it's just a bit too quick to pull the trigger on these managers.
I think the lad they've got at the moment, is Neil Thompson. I think he's done, like I said, he's come in and just sort of settled them down a little bit. Seemed to have been a bit more expansive in the way they play. But sort of the sense was that he's not going to be there for long.
It's an odd one with a caretaker manager, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's always the worry that they'll do all right at first, and once they finally get the job, the players sometimes seem to switch off, don't they?
Yeah, I think they are in a bit of a false position as well, because they had 6 points deducted in the season. So they're probably, they are a bit better really than second bottom of the table. They've got a few games in hand as well, so they're a better side than Rotherham really. But I think Carlin might have got a bit of a scare in that game, and with that in mind, he's thought, right, just get this boxed off tonight. I think it's important we do, to be honest, because like I said, those 3 games in 6 days. It feels like we say this all the time at the moment because we are involved in things, but they are season defining in some way. If we win tonight and then say we get 4 points from the next 2 at home, or win the next 2, then you're laughing then, aren't you? You're still thinking about what we can do in the next round of the cup. We've got Spurs or Wickham at home to come, and things are still upbeat, and you're feeling good about it. So yeah, I think you'll want to manage this week as much as possible, and that starts by doing a professional job early on today and being able to bring out the lads that he wants. But at the end of the day, it's an FA Cup game, like we've seen against Rotherham. It's probably going to be hard, and we've got to win the match first. But I think in an ideal world, he'll be thinking, I wouldn't mind James and Dom coming off on 60 here with Wednesday in mind.
Well, that's always the preferable way to do it, isn't it? Because in the past, we've generally gone with a weaker side with a stronger bench. And you can come unstuck really quickly, because if the team aren't used to playing together, if you make 5 or 6 changes, sort of players who haven't played much football, not used to playing together, they get an early goal, suddenly it starts to unravel quite quickly, and you start panicking a bit, and then you're sort of scrapping to get back in it towards the end, which is no good for anyone. So hopefully, we're doing that thing where we're going in strong, and we'll get something out of it early on.
Hopefully it could be like a nice sort of, because I think we're going to start playing more expansive football with our 3 forwards back fit, hopefully, for a while. So you'd like to think it could be like a nice little transition game, this, because we have been playing defensively minded, haven't we? But if those lads link up a bit tonight, and a couple of them get on the score sheet, James gets an assist or whatever, and they start putting those patterns together again, it's a nice little segue from potentially one style to the other, where we're going to be at home, and certainly in the Newcastle game, we're going to have loads of the ball, and we have breaking down a deep sit inside, and not something we've done overly well when we've had. West Ham was the only one really. We didn't do it well against, wasn't it? They came and did a job on us, but Newcastle at the weekend, Leicester probably a bit less, so they'll open the game up. But we're going to have to be more attacking in these home games, and hopefully this will be a nice little catalyst from the defensive Everton into the attacking Everton again.
Yeah, just on that, and on defence, Olsen in goal. Do you reckon he's going to be like a cup keeper, or?
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't really have any strong feelings when he plays or when he doesn't, to be honest. I think just by proving himself to be a viable alternative, he's had a positive effect on Pickford. Apart from the United game in the Cup, he's looked pretty decent. He had a really good game actually in the previous round, didn't he? Made some brilliant saves against Rotherham.
He did actually, yeah.
So
yeah. So I always find it's just a bit funny when you put the sort of second choice keeper in for the Cup, because if you do progress in it, there's got to be a point where you say, actually, no, we're putting him in. And I just think if you just say we got to the final, or we got to the semis, and Olsen's been in goal all the way, you keep him in because he is a good keeper, or do you think, well, let's say the final, do you think, well, he's not our keeper, that's our keeper, and then you put him in? What?
I don't know.
I think I'm way ahead of myself here. Like,
I think when Ancelotti won the Champions League with Real Madrid, they had one keeper for the Champions League and one keeper for the league. Casillas and Lopez. I can't remember which way round it was, but he did stick with that goalie all the way through. Yeah. So so there's a lot going on there. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's got it. You're saying he's a cup keeper, and he's got you to the final. But yeah, like you said, we're a long way from that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we can dream. No, this should be, all being well, a relatively straightforward route through to Wickham or Tottenham. Hopefully Wickham, but you never know.
Let's hope so, mate. Yeah. Post-match will be me, Dave, Rob, Mosey on here after the game. So looking forward
on
to
YouTube after the game.
Right. If you want to watch the podcast, will be out a little bit after, but just hope it don't want to be, waiting around on a Sunday night for penalties and extra time and all that. Just get it boxed up.
Oh God, yeah.
For God's sake.
So getting to bed for midnight. No,
I want to watch the NFL after it. So
yeah, it's no time for a match. This is it.
No, absolutely not. So yeah, nice professional job, hopefully, mate. But yeah, nice.
Yeah, nice. What's that?
Say nice one, yeah. Hopefully it's an easy.
Sorry, yeah, my screen froze then. Yeah, nice one, mate. Enjoy the game. Thanks to everyone for watching. Enjoy your Sunday nights. Yeah, catch up with Matt for post match. I'll see you soon.